Jewish home means to me. You have to know where I was and how I was when I came to the new Jewish home. As the video said, I was the second patient at Mount Sinai, and I deteriorated very quickly, and I was on a ventilator. I was in a coma for 51 days, and in the hospital for 128. And I'll give you I was told I get 4 minutes. My wife said you've never answered any question in 4 minutes.
We're not timing you. Don't worry, we're not timing you.
So I'll go through the Instagram version of what I went through, what happened to me. I think I'm an expert on one thing, and that's the extent of what COVID can do to your body. And the only other people that can say what I say, unfortunately, are not with us. I had a fever over 100 for 30 days. I had double pneumonia in both lungs. And when I was put on a ventilator, ventilators in the beginning are used for short-term use. And the patient does 60 to 40% of the work, and the ventilator does 60 to 40% of the work. In my case, the ventilator was doing 100%, and I was doing none. My lungs were gone. I had sepsis, seizures throughout many areas of my body. For 30 days, I had status epilepticus, which is a continuous seizure, and the medical people in here know what that means. And I was told by medical doctors that if you seize for 6 hours, the threat of brain damage is there, and I seized for weeks. I had cranial edema, which is a swelling of the brain, for 30 days. I had a massive brain hemorrhage that covered my entire brain, where they determined there was no brain activity, and they called my wife in and to say goodbye. And she held on to the note I sent her. The last text I sent her was, "I promise I'll never stop fighting." And she held on to that. And thank you, honey. It's 2 years, and I still get emotional, and I think I will forever. I'm so grateful. So, that being said, the blood that covered my entire brain after 3 weeks had reabsorbed back into the brain, and not many doctors can explain to me why that happened. I think I went through it all. So when I came to the new Jewish home, I was paralyzed. Oh, I opened my eyes, hence the name Miracle Larry. I opened my eyes on Easter Sunday. I couldn't have written that better. I came to the Jewish home. I was paralyzed from the neck down. I was trached. I couldn't speak. My mind was not totally back. It came back in pieces. So that's what they started with, and you are looking at their product.
I think everybody here is honored to be in your presence. They're honored to be in your presence, but I have to say, there's a little surprise for you, because there are two people here tonight who are very eager to say hello. I think they were probably kept hiding for a little bit, and they are some of the heroes that took care of you. Let me welcome to the stage the Director of Speech, Language, and Swallowing Disorders, Faye Bachko, and the Director of Rehab, Lauren Rashin. Please come to the stage.
I have to tell a little story. Faye is wonderful, but her worker, Stephanie, who has dealt with me every day, I called her the Marat Assad. I couldn't eat. She wouldn't feed me, and there was one. I have to tell. There was one I asked her for ice chips, and she said, "You're not getting any ice chips." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" "I want ice chips." She goes, "You're not getting any ice chips." I said, what? She says, "You don't know how to swallow. You have to learn how to swallow." I said, "Well, I can swallow." I said, "Give me a T-bone steak. I'll show you how to swallow." She said, "You're not getting any ice chips." So I looked at her. I said, "What kind of a human being are you to deny a dying, thirsty man ice chips?" She goes, "It's not going to work, Mr. Kelly." I said, "Well, I tried." But she wasn't the Marat Assad. She was a genius, because I'm talking to you now. So whatever they did was right. She's not here, but Lane, who was my occupational therapist, I tell people that that whole term, being reborn, has so much resonance for me, because I started paralyzed, couldn't speak, couldn't think, so my occupational therapist potty trained me, fed me solid food. It's like you start over, and the care I got into the Jewish home was I can't even describe it. It's indescribable, and I just want to thank everybody. And this place is amazing.
I think what everybody just got was a little bit of a dose of some of the things that came out of COVID. We count bodies, and we count deaths, and we count recoveries, but every one of those recoveries is the result of the heroic health